Okay, I think this went under the radar. I got reminded of it not too long ago. It's about a month old story, but an important one nonetheless. Back in March of 2020, Dr. John Ioannidis was ahead of this. Not just in calling this shit what could be one of the most potential, most disastrous evidence fiascos that we've ever seen, but he also mentioned that there could be issues regarding deaths of despair. And what those are, when you look at using the mechanism which they tried to apply back then, really all across the world, for mitigating this virus, lockdowns, shutting down the populace, preventing them from moving, and preventing them from doing what they needed to do day to day. And he called that a problem. And it was like, when you're weighing cost and benefits and risk assessment, you have to consider that. You cannot pretend like COVID is the only damn thing that's out there. When you try to mitigate this by using those methods, it's going to come with its sets of consequence. You cannot ignore those away. Well, you can, and that's what they attempted to do. Ignore those away, but they will happen, and they could be. And the solution that it is that you sought to apply could be worse than if you just left it alone, or you went another route. And here we have yet another example of this, which went under the radar, which is specifically, almost number one on the list. I wouldn't say that it is, but it was one of the ones that a lot of, like the Johnny Ioannidis of the world, referred to, of deaths of despair. And here we are right here. U.S. reached a record high of more than 96,000 drug overdose deaths in a 12-month period. And this is what the CD data showed, as reported by Fake News Network. Reported drug overdose deaths in United States hit a new high of more than 96,000 in a 12-month period, and in March 2021. So a full year, basically at the start of the pandemic. I wonder what the fuck happened in that during that period of time that could have caused such a thing. In that 12 months, this comes from the CDC, a period when the COVID-19 took hold, yes, we know that. U.S. saw 96,779 reported drug overdoses, which is an increase of almost 30%. The numbers released Wednesday are provisional data, as drug overdose deaths require a lengthy investigation to be recorded. I'm sure that those drug overdose deaths and their lengthy investigation probably have not as lengthy as, let's say, COVID's death, but I guess I digress. The estimate for predicted deaths, which accounts for delayed reporting, was over 99,000, so almost 100,000. Numbers released on Wednesday show an increase over the number of drug overdose deaths reported during the 12-month period ending in February, but deaths have risen slightly slower. There was a 29.7% rise in reported drug overdose deaths between February 2020 and 2021. Now they're trying to package it like, oh, well, at some point there was a decline in this high-ass number. Because they saw like New Hampshire says, New Jersey and South Dakota reported overdose deaths declined by 16.3%. South Dakota had, says South Dakota reported overdose deaths declined 16.3%. Wonder what South Dakota was doing during that block of time in comparison to a lot of the other parts of the. I don't know, man. It's just a coincidence. Just a coincidence. Vermont. That's all. That has to be a coincidence as well. Had the largest increase of overdose deaths of any state reported overdose deaths in Vermont rose by 85% from March 2020 to March 2021. Vermont also saw the largest increase in February, data said. Of the breakdown, opioids accounted for the highest number, then followed by synthetic opioids. And methadone continued to see the lowest number of overdose deaths. Yeah, yes, there's an opioid crisis, if you will. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is you guys placed a bad situation upon that could have been relatively avoided on people that already had shit going on with them and were probably using drugs maybe as a coping mechanism, if you will. And I hate to see that shit. It's a problem. But don't think that you don't contribute to it in some way, shape, or form when you have really, and this is why I call these guys pieces of shit. Because, see, they like to think that guys like myself and those of us that were advocating against these lockdowns and stupid mandates or whatever it was during the time, that we are to be attributed to basically everybody's deaths. Like, that's on us. Everybody, doesn't matter. It's your fault. If you are against lockdowns and every death, well, when they used to count them, when the presidency changed, that kind of went out the window. But when they used to just count every platform had the little death ticker or whatever. And every one of those was your responsibility in the event that you were advocating against those policies. But what they will never take responsibility for is what we just saw. They'll never take responsibility for this, depression issues, the rise in suicide attempts, the rise in domestic violence that are associated with your lockdowns that you were having. You never will take responsibility. They'll never do it. They won't take responsibility for that. But they expect you to take responsibility for everything else. And it's funny, and this is what's even more funny. On both sides of this argument, if you will, the pharmaceutical companies are right in the middle of it. I'm sure that's just another fucking coincidence. You just watched a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.